For the startup, madam, nice to meet you.
You too.
This is my hand. First of all, do you mind to introduce yourself and what you're doing?
Okay, my name is Edwina Taylor Flatten, and I am the founder and CEO of Seeding Africa Global. Seeding Africa is an organization founded to promote organic farming, seed multiplication in all of Africa. That is what we do. And also to create seed banks as we go within local communities.
Yeah. Where is this vision came from? Why?
It started in 2020. I was at home in Norway and I was asleep and I had a nightmare. It came from a nightmare. And in my nightmare, we were all as Africans walking down the pier, and as we walk, they would chain us next, next. And I asked, why are we in this line? And someone said, because we have no more food. GMO came and took over all our lands. Our land is destroyed. We need to eat. And I woke up sweating. I called a friend of mine at the time, Brother Sam, in Belgium, at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, Uncle Sam, what? We're screwed, we're gonna die. Because what? I said, I had this dream that out of seeds, GMO went and took off all our lands. Oh, he goes, calm down. When I calm down, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I said, okay. We said, we're not gonna die tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I said, okay. So the next day, he didn't call me, I called him. And what he said, I told him, because I had time to think on what to do. He told me, this will not work. It's impossible. You can't get Africans to work together. And I'm a very stubborn person. I don't know, like someone to tell me it's impossible. I must always try. So I said, it's impossible. I'm going to show whether it's impossible or not, it's going to be done, because it has to be done. We have no choice. Yeah. So it was driven by fear, and I started getting people together, and that's how Seeding Africa was founded. And now we're working in Africa.
So what kind of issues or problem that is facing Africa when it comes to seeding?
Well, it's multiple problems we have with seeding. Yeah. Number one, before let's say about 20 years ago, Africa was filled with natural seeds. And there was no question of GMO or non-GMO, because we all just assumed they were natural, because they were natural, organic, traditional seeds. But then with the introduction of GMOs, that spoiled everything, because our local representatives in the villages are manipulating and forcing local farmers to use GMOs, to use pesticides, to use herbicides, all the things that is killing us. Because we're even using pesticides and herbicides in Africa that has been banned in Europe and in Americas. But they pay our people here, the government who's supposed to lead us, to force that product on the market to us, and that gives us a lot of these diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, name it. You know, so that's one of the aspects of what is the problem with eating organically in Africa. But also GMO seed destroys the land. And the seed, if a farmer uses GMO seeds, not only can you not reuse it again, but you have to use all these chemicals, and the price to get these chemicals so expensive, it kills your soil. You cannot reproduce those seeds, and when you sell those seeds, you get sick in the end. And so when they finish, a farmer would work so hard, at the end they have very little money to feed, to support their family, because they have to pay for all these things. Whereas with organic seeds, you don't get sick, where the risk is very low. You can reproduce the seeds when you multiply the seeds. That's what we try, and we work with farmers to let them reproduce the seeds. But also, the soil, it rejuvenates the soil as well. And with us at Seeding Africa, we don't use imported fertilizer, we don't use all those sides, bad sides, pesticides, herbicides. I call them bad sides. We make our own organic, on-site fertilizers and treat the soil organically. Now, some people say, pardon. Some people say, why didn't you just use this fertilizer and that fertilizer? Why? I say, why? Before all of this happened, how did our people, our people in the past, our grandfathers, parents and mothers, how did they farm? There was no bad sides, no pesticides, no herbicides, there was no GMO seeds. You know, they still produce and harvest. That we must remember that we are the pioneers of farming. We all of a sudden we just let people just come and say you must do this. That's not a good thing. We need to think for ourselves. We need to think for our children, because when you go organic, when you eat organic, not only do you make a clean environment, but you have good health. And when you also when you plant organic, when you sell, you have higher value. So you make more income, and you spend less. So that's why I always say, if you like yourself and you love yourself and you love your family, go organic.
And where does Africa right now get like its seed from? Are we using like our own seed that we have, or we import or something?
Well, majority of Africa is our own GMO seeds, which is sad, and that's why we're working hard day in and day out to spread organic seeds, and also opening of seed banks. Our first seed bank will be in Malawi with the Lumumba Foundation. From there, we plan on having one in Ethiopia, in every region at first, and then every country.
Yes.
But one of our programs in Zimbabwe. We have already an informal seed bank, and I love that. They have the seed bank of traditional seeds in clay pots, different seeds, and they have it into caves, these holy shrines, these holy caves from our ancestors. So no one dares to go in there. I mean, if you have bad intentions, so their seeds are saved, and it's something like that I'd like to see, you know, in local communities, that they save their seeds, because that is our life. If we don't do this, these seeds, each seed is worth so much. Each seed is not just a seed. Each seed can take care of your family, can put your kids to school, can give them good health, give you good economy from each seed, because one seed can multiply. So that's why it's so important for us to grow organic as a people. It is our birthright to live that way.
Yeah. So as a youth, finally, what would be your message to the youth of Africa about your initiative?
My best, first of all, for the youth, we target youth. 60% of our project is for the youth, because we believe that they are the ones going to take over the baton from us. And my message would be, leave these big cities, go into the countryside, and learn how to farm, learn how to even grow one manioc. He who can plant and feed himself can control himself.
Yes.
Because even if you go and you learn how to plant, to farm, you can always come back to the city and do what you want to do, but at least learn how to feed yourself. So don't just say abandon the farm. And if you cannot go up into the country, find a place in a city where you have a little patch that you can grow something. You know, what we're trying to do at Seeding Africa is we are preparing we have a letter already we want to send over to the AU. For the AU, so they can try to make mandatory farming for young children, for the youth, but to have at least 1 year of agriculture training. So instead of, for example, you know how you have mandatory military, or in addition to that, you do 1 year mandatory agriculture training.
Indeed, indeed.
So that is my dream.
Yeah.
To see the youth standing up and rising up, fed and healthy.
Yeah, Madam, thank you so much for this.
You're most welcome.
I really appreciate. We're gonna have more conversation here on Swahili Nation. So guys, stay tuned. Appreciate, Madam. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.